It doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Okay. Oh, yes, we're live. We're live. It's a good place to start. We're on live on Facebook and YouTube and going live on Instagram now. There we go.
I'm here.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
I'm just
We've got.
bringing coffee for everybody.
That looks delicious.
It is freshly
As
brewed by me.
as promised, we're back live with a new topic. We're doing this every week. Every week you're going to see us. And so welcome, AJ.
Thank you, brother. Always a pleasure to be here with you every Tuesday, Wednesday. It's starting to get like really good to see your face
On
weekly.
a regular basis.
I know we talk, like you and I have an accountability call each week, right? Like you and I are accountability buddies for a lot of different things. And so adding this in is just a pleasure, man. So thanks.
Yeah, this is super cool. And I want to make sure that we call AJ Aaron James because there's an upgrade that's been happening. Just so
That's right.
Make sure there's an upgrade.
I like that. I like
yeah,
that. I like the upgrade as opposed to identity shift.
Yeah.
For those of you that know me as AJ, this is a public announcement. I go by Aaron James. It is my real name, Aaron James, and I've just been transitioning into that over 2023, and I've got some friends that just refuse, and that's okay. So, but thank you, man. I appreciate you doing that.
For sure. So, we're going to jump into. We love doing topics. You know, Aaron James is a hypnotherapist and an awesome performance coach. Probably one of the most incredible coaches I've really met. And I don't know if you'll meet a man with a bigger heart. I don't think so.
Oh, thanks,
and
man.
so,
appreciate
and
that.
of course,
Receive that.
Yeah, of course, man. And you guys, a lot of you know, I've worked, with many people in different situations, but I help people, move through chronic illnesses. And now we run the Fast Forward Weight Loss Company, which helps people create a fat burning body. The reason I do that is because I want people to live their full potential. And there's moments in my life where I've been very sick. And honestly, the wealth I had didn't freaking matter when I couldn't walk. The relationships I had didn't matter when I couldn't walk. So I don't know if there's something more important. Is there a greater wealth than health? I mean, you can argue this different ways. For me, no, there isn't. And so that's why I do what I do. And our topic is on emotional eating. And it's something I just want to bring up. And there's so many different facets to this, but I really want to bring in Aaron James in this because it's like, what he does as a hypnotherapist and with breath work, like how do we work with this? So one of the first pieces I want to bring up is with emotional eating. I have found that most people, including myself before the age of 40, had never been taught how to feel an emotion. So there's a concept when we have an emotion that, many of us have been taught to not feel it or to swallow it. So we'll swallow our emotions and push them in. And then we wonder why we have gut issues, right? So one of the first pieces of this, when we talk about how do I fix the emotional eating, is are you feeling your emotion? And I don't mean are you crying? I mean, are you feeling the emotion and letting the emotion move through you? So I want to kind of open it up to you and see your thoughts on that, man.
Man, it's so the languaging, right? It's really incredible. Like I want to pinpoint something as well. And I work with a lot of high performers, and people want to just shove so much in their schedule, right? Get so much done, be so productive. And many people I know and I work with, like, will have their lunch hour and they'll work in their lunch hour and they'll be stressed in their lunch hour and they'll be trying to get shit. And they're like, oh, no, I'll just do it over lunch. It's okay. And it'll work. Literally, they are eating their stress. They are eating the stress that is then going in their body inside of the food. If you've ever heard of The Secret of Water, Dr. Emoto, thank you. Yep. Great book. If you look him up on YouTube, even water is in everything, right? Energy is everything. Water is literally in everything. And he has that experiment where I think this is really valid. Like, there's scientifically proven that with water, if you speak or write or emote certain energy that's negative, and he froze this, right? And you speak positive love and you send energy of love and high frequency and joy and positivity, it literally shows up in water completely different.
Mhm,
One
mhm.
looks very jaggedy. The negative one looks very jaggedy and rough and mysterious and kind of icky. And the other one is beautiful and fine lines and all of that. So if that's true, if speaking in that way to water elements, everything is energy, all is one, everything's connected, and we're also then literally putting stuff in our food, water in our mouth while we're stressed out, while we're feeling these things with work. What is that doing to our system? Right? It's
Right.
installing more. It's putting more into that. So the opposite of that is to literally have the break, separate the time so that you can be away from work, you can be away from stress, and have those deep breaths. And like literally before I eat, and most of the time I don't always do this, and I'll do this with a coffee too. I'll just put my hands around and be like, "Thank you. Thank you so much. I have so much gratitude. Thank you for nourishing my body. Thank you for burning the fat that I don't need. Thank you, body, for getting rid of the waste that's in here, and my body for turning the nutrients into it for energy and blah blah blah." And just doing that, then you're blessing that going into your body as opposed to all the stress and stuff that's going on. So hopefully that's a nice little opener for this.
Wow, that was a I'm just letting that one sit in because that was so great. Feeling into that way if you went into that. I
Thanks, bud.
was here's what I was feeling into this about. I want to point out something that you said that 15 years ago I wouldn't really have picked up on. Because I actually had those crystals in my chiropractic office many years ago. I had those
Yeah.
crystals printed and put behind light all over my office because it was such a cool study. And of course, they went through and they did with different things, but of course, the water patterns changed, and it looked like the positive ones had, um, you know, sort of these organized patterns, and negative ones had these disorganized patterns. And so it's interesting because I want to make a distinction here with positive and negative, good and bad, as a distinction from a third option. Because positive and negative are duality, both illusions. When you just talked about what you were doing was dropping into love and appreciation. And love and appreciation, in my book, aren't even good. And they're not even bad. They are beyond that. They transcend those. So it's interesting because this is sort of like my upgrade from those what I used to do a while ago from put in good or bad. It's like, wait a minute. What you're actually doing is dropping into love and appreciation. That transcends any polarity of good or bad. And
Yeah.
so I really love how you said that because so let's tie this all together then. We have the emotion, we swallow it down, like you said. And the reason we swallow it down, maybe all kinds of programming and wiring. However, I want to drop something on this that might be a heavy thing is we haven't learned to love this part of ourself.
Mm.
Meaning, right? That's a
Yeah.
big deal, right? Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big deal. Yeah. So it's like if let's say I'm let's say something I used to do. I used to swallow down the part of me that was negative. That would be like critical of people. And I'd notice it and I'd be, oh, nope, don't do that. I would, don't do that. Let me be positive. But
Yeah.
it's because it wasn't loving my critical part. If we love and own something, it doesn't have to show up in our life more. So now I own
Hmm.
and love my critical part and I don't have to swallow it down. This whole thing is about equilibrium, AKA love and appreciation. So interesting. I think we end up swallowing down the parts of ourselves that we literally haven't loved.
Yep. The parts of us that are also, I'll add to that, disconnected, right? So you and I
Mhm.
learned from Dr. Dan and Micro, like our whole system is a complex system, and everything is connected and everything is energy. And so if we have cells in our body and if we have negative emotions around things and they're feeling disconnected from the whole system,
Yeah.
then they're not feeling loved, they're not feeling connected, they're not feeling together, and they seek then external input that feels good, right? If we have negative emotions or something that's unresolved, even inner child stuff, like it could be anything. We can go to deeper in detail into that. But if there's something that's unresolved internally, it is going to start wanting things that are going to satiate the head, right? Satiate the stomach, satiate the body, satiate the cells. Whereas it doesn't, it's nothing external. It's all inside. So
Mm.
it is going in and connecting with what is this desire to eat this junk food? Why am I, what is really going on here, right? What part of me is feeling malnutritious, what's the word? Mal
Malnourished.
malnourished, thank you. Malnourished. What part of me is feeling unloved right now? Right? Because
Yeah.
it's all just
Yeah.
that energy back and forth. So this emotional eating thing is and like to break that cycle, it's truly like really checking in. And now this is the difficult part is becoming aware of the thing when you're eating the thing or you're getting drawn to whatever it is. If you haven't gotten rid of stuff that's bad in your house from your cabinets from your stuff, then that's on
Maybe
you. But
step
if it's
one.
there and you're
Yeah.
still going for it and you keep, oh man, just can't break that cycle. It's like, yeah, there's something inside you are not listening to and you haven't really tuned into, and it can be hard. Sometimes you don't catch yourself on the first Cheeto or second Cheeto or third Cheeto, but after you're like halfway through, like, oh, I'm starting to feel even worse now, and then more shame and guilt builds on. So this stack of emotional
Mm,
eating keeps stacking up if we don't get to the root cause of that emotion that is
mm.
in there, that is crying out for
Right.
help.
You really nailed it there, man. And this is about day 20 of my hormone reset
Hmm.
fat loss program, and day 20 is where I present what you just said about when you feel when you remove sugar from your body, you're gonna have a lot of stuff that comes up. And what's interesting is, I'll give you an example. I did this hormone reset for myself. I lost like literally like 11 pounds in a week. It was wild. The fat was gone. On day 7, my neighbor brought me a warm, delicious cookie from Crumble. And dude,
Oof.
it was delivered to my right. It was delivered to my door, and I go, "What is this?" And I look down and I go, "Oh shit, it's a crumb box." And I've removed sugar, right? But it's funny
Mhm.
because this is like what happens when you start sort of removing things. These tests start coming up, right?
Yeah.
So this is like, and of course, I'm coaching all these different people in weight loss, and now this thing comes up, and I'm like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" You know, like
Yeah.
so it gets to my door,
Yeah.
and I was watching my thoughts, right? So this, I think people will resonate with this. So I first it came up, and I said, "Oh shit." I'm removing sugar. You know what? Let me just, okay, I'm not going to eat it, but let me just put it in my refrigerator for later. So I put it in the fridge for later, but I kept feeling it throughout the day. I was thinking about this freaking warm cookie. It's not warm anymore, but I could warm it up, right? It's in my
Yeah.
refrigerator. So I literally would open the fridge every time and I'd see it. And so I decided, let me just smell it. So I just, at least, let me smell the
These
sugar.
baby steps. Oh, I'm just gonna smell it. It's fine.
Right,
Yeah.
and I'm coaching everyone else in weight loss and telling them what to do. It's like, oh my god! And so, okay, I just smelt it and put it back. Then I thought, you know what? If it's in my fridge, I'm not gonna. That's not gonna work. Let me put it in the freezer, right? Because then
Hmm.
it's like more solid. I'm not gonna eat it. So put it in my freezer. I couldn't stop thinking about it in the freezer either. So finally, I said, oh my god, let me just sit. And this is what I recommend that people do: is when you feel the wanting of it, I want you to go sit and be in the wanting, to be in the wanting without actually
Yeah.
having. So go sit in the couch, literally sit with nothing and sit and drop into the feeling of wanting and not getting. If you sit in that and let it pass through you, it actually moves through you and it actually goes away. That's what's very interesting. So you sit in it, it goes away and you go, oh my God. Because it's the thing we're avoiding. It's the avoiding trying to figure out how to not feel the wanting. But if
Yes.
you feel the wanting, you don't avoid it anymore, right?
So good. That is so good. And I want to bring more emphasis to what you're saying there. Let's apply it to other emotions in life as well, outside of just the food part, right?
Mhm.
It all is connected. And so oftentimes that emotion, that fear, that thing that people just don't want to feel, right? We've all had that thing. You're like, you're doing the work, you're doing other things to completely avoid the one thing you need to go face. And when we finally do, like you're saying, like take that baby step and just like kind of be with it. Many times you don't necessarily need hypnotherapy. You don't need a coach. You don't need a this. You don't need all these things. It's just like, and you reminded me of this a number of times in our relationship, and I remember that. And I thank you for reminding me, like, man, sometimes you just sit with it. And you've used the words lean into it, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
it is just being with that thing, that emotion, wherever that is in your body, and like instead of being afraid of it, just like kind of take the sniff. Okay, oh, just there's a little bit. Okay, that it's hurting. Oh man, that really hurts right here. It's like piercing. Okay, and literally leaning into that emotion. And generally it's about 60 seconds, 55, 60 seconds, sometimes 90 seconds. And it's like, you feel it and you may need to cry, you may need to scream, you may need to emote, you may need to do whatever. And as you do, and then when you just feel it release and it's gone.
Mhm, mhm,
So in any situation here, this is a truth. This is such a beautiful thing to try. And so all of you listening
mhm,
and watching this, what's the one thing today that is
mhm.
in the back of your mind or on your heart or weighing heavy, the one thing that you're avoiding that you could just sit with? And I want to challenge you, I want to dare you to do that today, because that's going to be a gift for yourself. And it may be related to eating. It may be related to that or fat loss or whatever, or it could be something completely
Mm.
different.
What a good invitation. What a great invitation. AJ, I love that. It's this is the thing that I found is so easy to take time to do that we just don't do it.
Mm.
And why would you? You've been told, well, I was told since I was a little kid, like, don't cry, just suck it up. And listen, I probably should preface this because I spent 17 years running a healthcare clinic, and I'm going to tell you this: I saw everything from digestive cancers, breast cancers, AIDS, migraine headaches for 50 years. I've seen these things heal, but the reason I saw them heal was because we actually got to drop into the energy with people.
Mm.
And your body, if you get one thing out of this, man, your body is a literal transcript of your consciousness. And your consciousness is the interaction between you and the incredible intelligence that built this universe. So that interaction expresses in your body. So you're literally transcribing it. So when someone would come in and have a migraine headache, I wouldn't even hear them say headache. That's why I couldn't really attach with diagnosis very much, because I would hear them say, I'm so tired of this relationship. But they would say, I had a headache. And I go, well, that's interesting. Your
Mm.
body is giving you signs. So the eventually swallowing the emotions down. And the interesting that there, I don't know how we could even study this, but I'm 100% certain that swallowing emotions, what it does to your gut bacteria, the imbalances
Hmm.
of gut bacteria, right? And people say, I have IBS, or no, literally, you just haven't literally owned this part of self. And I can tell you, most people don't want to sit in these emotions because when you've ever felt anxiety in your chest,
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was going to die. Like that's why I didn't want to feel anxiety. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. But I noticed one important thing was that no one's ever died from feeling their emotions. And that was a really nice thing to know. No one's ever died from feeling your emotions, but your brain, your mind will tell you that. So what AJ said was huge is, can you just stop and just ask, what's the one thing I could feel and drop in today? And I've had friends of mine who are cage fighters have this
Mhm.
conversation. And when I tell them I'm feeling my anger and literally sitting with anger, they say, dude, I'm not doing that. I'm like, you'll get in a cage and be brutally beaten or beat someone else, but you won't sit with your anger. That's how afraid of our emotions we
Mhm.
really are.
Yep. Yeah, it's a shame that we are not taught how to use the things we're given, our emotions, our thoughts, our brains, right? Our subconscious or unconscious.
True.
We don't get into that stuff. But I wanna add to that about the those messages from the body, right? I literally, as a hypnotherapist, anytime somebody is saying, and what you were doing there is like when you were, people will explain things. You have to watch their body language, watch
Mm,
their skin tone, watch their
mm,
languaging, right, to see what's going on, because they're generally pointing out the stuff that's going on, and they don't
yeah.
necessarily realize it. And so there's literally a book that's been around since the 60s or 70s, Dr. Hamner, and there's another doctor who's been putting together data collection over many, many years of therapy and medical conditions. And one of the books is the messages from the body. Literally, we're talking about emotional eating. It's like when it's in the body, our body stores it, right? Our body keeps score. And
Mm,
so when legitimately, if there are certain things on the body that are hurting and in the gut biome, there are specific, now known, like, hey, there's been this many cases of in this area of your body or in your gut biome, it has to do with XYZ. Now I haven't memorized it all. The book is like this thick, but like I'll reference it if people are saying, yeah, man, I've had diarrhea for the last few days, or I just can't sleep or whatever, and this thing in my back is hurting, or I've had chronic pain for 3 years in this one area. What it's really cool is the body is literally screaming at us and telling us these things. And based on as a hypnotherapist and a coach, based on what I learned from that book. Oh, that's cool. The little hearts just went up.
That's cool. I didn't know.
Yeah, I just did. Let's do it again real quick so I don't.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it doing
thumbs up.
Jeez.
Yeah, we can just totally mess around with this for a while. Where I was going with that is like it gives you the person, as you look through this book and this reference, like, oh, okay, it's a masculine thing, or it's feminine, or it's this and it's that, and then it's like, okay, remember a time in your life when this may have happened. Is there any certain emotion that you were feeling around this? And we can dig into that. So our body is constantly giving us messages. And when we're eating the foods and we're having, after the food's eaten and the digestion is going, this whole system, this whole complex system is then at different times of our digestion telling us things. So if it's screaming like a screaming baby, you want to go, hey, let's go. I think the message is really, let's go inward. And let's consciously really connect with whatever is going on in our body, where it is in our body, and really begin to have a relationship with it, because it will tell you messages. Literally, sometimes people see something come through. I have everyone check in with their mind, their heart, their gut, and their soul. And we do an alignment process, because like these messages, there's constant messages coming in. They're always wanting to communicate with us if we're open to it.
Wow. I was just sitting in that, man. That's beautiful. What I was feeling was we could literally do this. Might be of interest to, I would love to do this. Is after 17 years of working with people, I was working with 300 patients a week for a long time.
Wow.
What you saw with those studies, we could literally go through several lives and talk about different systems of the body and what it actually means.
Yeah.
That'd be a really cool thing for people, because I think it would be really powerful, because when you go to the doctor this day and age, doctor means teacher.
Yeah.
But no, doctors aren't teaching anymore. You're supposed to go to the doctor and be, hey, can you teach me like what's going on in my body? You don't learn anything anymore except, oh, you've got a label and I got the pill to take care of it. And what that does, it disconnects you from your body. Truly.
Right.
So that'd be a really neat few lives to do, man. Is what does the digestive tract stuff mean? What does the intestines mean? What does the circulatory system mean? So people could actually be connected with. Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, even tomorrow, we're going to be back on live tomorrow. We could, if we want to, we could have everybody drop in with us and do a connecting to the mind, to the heart, to the gut, and to the soul. It's a very quick one. It's really, really great to be able to get in tune together. We could do a little bit of breathing, and then like, let's go and practice that. Then you can also practice, like, I've even done it when I've ate something. I'm like, man, I'm not feeling well. And it doesn't feel like anything else, but okay, something I ate, is this just not something good for my system? Do I need to take notice that, okay, my system doesn't want this right now, right? Almost like muscle testing beforehand, but like, I would love to walk people through that. And then you and I could add to it and just kind of tag team. I think that'd be cool tomorrow to do that.
I'm 100%. What do we call that? What do we do? What do we call that title?
That is a combo of a hypnotherapy and meditation session. And it's going to be a quick, like alpha hypnosis.
I like this because someone can watch this after it's on there, and I would love to share this out. It's like, hey, if you have some stress, let me share this with patients. Like, drop in with us. I think that is a usable thing. I'm in. Count me in on that, man.
We can do that. And then on Wednesdays at 4:30, I'm doing breath work. But 30 minutes before that, I'm just going to start going back on live, where I'm doing a healthy emotional detox, just walking people through a process, and just like, hey, during the middle of the week, let's let go of the Monday, Tuesday, and the weekend stuff, and let's get ready for the rest of the week. So I think that would be cool for us, you and I, to split off on content, but then also like, let's just drop in together.
I love this idea. I want to share, because I've noticed back in those moments, I referenced this a lot when I was really sick. The only thing that mattered, but the money didn't matter, all the people I helped and the businesses, and none of it mattered. The only thing that mattered, I could literally feel the moment where I decided to tell others that you love them, and not even just say it, but to really drop into that. And I was just feeling so much love for you right now, and just appreciating just some of the moments we've been together. And I was like, let me do that live. And hopefully this is even a stimulus for other people watching this. We often feel love with others, and we don't share it until the person's about to die. And this is, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I was about to die, and I realized, shit, I didn't do that. So I'm just doing that right now, man. I just really appreciate these moments and just having these flashes of how cool it is to share. If you go travel to the most incredible place on the planet by yourself, they honestly kind of suck.
Yeah, it's a
I've
different
done it.
experience.
It's
It
that
is.
for a while it's cool, but when you have other people to share experiences with, God, it really enhances the things on this planet. So I just want to share. Thank you, man, for being you.
Man, I received that. Thank you, brother. I want to give you a big ass hug. We've had some really great moments together talking about love. And I think that's a great thing to come back to. Two things, like you started with the fact that you were sick, you were bedridden. And if you don't have your health, you can have all the money in the bank account, you can have all this other stuff going on, but like if you don't have your health to enjoy it, man, that is so, so, so important. So let's all be more cognizant of what we're putting in our body and how we're putting it in our body. Remember back to the water thing. Like let's really take a moment of, even if it's for 5 seconds or 10 seconds, to clear any stress that's away and like really honor the body, what we're putting in. And then just reminding everybody about self-love. We just had Valentine's Day, and it's I think more important that we just reflect inwards and like, where are we not loving ourselves, and go in front of the mirror, like say I love you like 20 times. After a few, it starts to get like, feels really, really good. So let's love on ourselves, let's love on our food, let's love on each other, and put it out there. I think that's a great reminder, Cody. Thanks, man.
I like that, buddy. I was just thinking about the Valentine's Day. We just talked about disconnected parts and parts we haven't loved. It'd be
Yeah.
such an interesting exercise on Valentine's Day to literally go make your disowned parts your Valentine.
Dude, that's a great idea.
Whoa!
Anybody comment below. You guys like that idea? Say yes down in the comments, and
Like,
we could definitely do that one.
I'm gonna take my narcissistic parts that I haven't loved, and I'm just gonna go have a Valentine's like meal with my narcissistic part. Like,
oh man, that would be so creative and so fun to play with from a hypnotic standpoint. I think that's a great idea. Okay, that's a writer downer. We definitely do that. All y'all who are like yes, comments it down there.
Let's do that. That's awesome, buddy.
All right. Do you want to wrap up like the emotional eating and like any last like action steps ready to kind of wrap up here?
There's so many of these conversations that I think I want to back up. Like there's so many things that are coming up in this conversation, but please shoot us comments. We'll look if there's any other around these topics, other things you want to talk about. But that is the number one step that I think that no one is talking about. I run a weight loss company, and I spend the majority of my time making sure people feel their emotion. Yeah, that's number one thing, because no matter what else I do, it's not about, hey, don't do this and eat this and don't do this. That's good. But unless Warren Buffett, until you can manage your emotions, you won't be able to manage your money.
Mm-hmm.
Warren
Beautiful. Man, that's powerful. Say it one more time.
Yeah. If you can't manage your emotions, you can't manage your money.
Yep.
So let's look at health. You can't manage your emotions, you can't manage your health.
Yeah, it applies to everything.
It
applies to everything. That is a beautiful, beautiful way to end that, brother. That is so powerful. And let's all take that and kind of apply it to our life wherever. And look, y'all, emotions can be scary. Emotions can be devastating. Like you said, sometimes you literally feel like you're going to die if you face this thing. But I want to remind everyone, I said this in the last one, you are not your emotions. You are not your issues. No one is effing broke. No one needs to be fixed. These emotions they're data points. The emotions are not who we are. They're not us. These are data points from our body. These are data points from our soul, from the universe, with messages. We just haven't learned to decrypt, right? Back in the World War II, there were certain decryptors of codes between that they're trying to code break, right? The Germans versus the US. And these code breakers, once you crack the code and you learn how to work with your body in this, emotions do not seem so fucking scary. It becomes, oh, okay. And by the way, those of you, and especially men out there, I think, but men and women, listen, all emotions are a gift. All emotions are a gift, even rage, anger, sadness, all the negative ones that people just like don't want to have or push under the rug. These are gifts because they are simply an expression of life coming at us in a different data point to give us that. So we get the chance to sit with it and feel it. And I can feel anger and not punch anything. I can also feel rage and not punch anything, but sometimes I just got to scream and get it out. That's why we do our primal screaming in our breath work stuff. Like, we got to get this stuff out. And once it's expressed, then it's like, okay, what's the learning here? Great. Thank you, body. Thank you, whoever sent that emotion to me. So let's look at these emotions as gifts, and applying that to eating is the gift of, like, food is out there, and what we're putting into our bodies from a thinking standpoint, and who we're hanging out with and what we're putting in our bodies from in terms of food is all really important. So let's just be more conscious of what we're putting in, the input.
I would feel like that was a powerful. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna. I could keep going on. But
I don't have a mic. I don't have a.
Yeah.
You and I don't have that in the mic yet.
I'll drop it for you.
We just need fake mics and just drop them whenever we want to do that.
Exactly. That's awesome. Well, thanks for being on, Aaron James. Love you, my friend. We're gonna be on tomorrow, same time. And
same time
to do this, man. Yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
Love you, buddy. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Just put comments in here.